let's return to Hollywood and our top story this morning, where legendary actress Diane Keaton has died at the age of 79, sending shockwaves through the industry and among fans.
You can't imagine what I think of you.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to answer that.
Hollywood is no stranger to tragedy, but when Diane Keaton, one of the most iconic actresses of her generation, passed away unexpectedly, the shockwaves were felt worldwide. Fans mourned, tributes poured in, and the media quickly turned its focus to the people closest to her. Among them, one name dominated the headlines: Jack Nicholson. Rumors swirled, whispers spread, and speculation ran rampant. Was the legendary actor somehow involved? Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton share a long, complicated history. From the golden era of New Hollywood to late-night interviews decades later, they were intertwined in ways the public barely understood. Their friendship, rumored romances, and professional collaborations made them inseparable figures in Hollywood lore. Yet, after Diane's death, everything about their relationship suddenly became the subject of scrutiny. Now, authorities have reportedly opened an investigation. What started as an inquiry into Diane's passing has turned into a media frenzy, with questions about Jack's recent actions, whereabouts, and connections dominating every outlet. Fans are left confused, shocked, and desperate for answers. How could a man who's been a Hollywood legend for decades suddenly find himself at the center of a story this dark? This is the untold story behind Diane Keaton's final days, Jack Nicholson's mysterious involvement, and the shocking investigation that has stunned Hollywood. The truth, however, is more complex than the tabloids would have you believe. A tangled web of history, fame, and secrets that only now is beginning to unravel. Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton shared one of the most fascinating and enduring connections in Hollywood history. Their relationship, spanning decades, has long been the subject of speculation, admiration, and sometimes confusion. While the public saw Nicholson as the larger-than-life, mischievous Hollywood icon, and Keaton as the thoughtful, witty, and grounded actress, those close to them knew that their bond went far beyond appearances. It was a friendship forged in mutual respect, shared experiences, and an understanding of the unique pressures that come with life in the spotlight. From the earliest days of their careers, Jack and Diane gravitated toward one another. Their paths crossed frequently, on movie sets, during Hollywood parties, and at industry events where their personalities naturally complemented each other. Nicholson's charismatic energy and Keaton's sharp intellect created a dynamic that was both magnetic and balanced. Friends often remarked that when they were together, the room seemed to shift. There was a certain electricity, a blend of warmth and unpredictability that drew people in. Despite the speculation about romance, their relationship was famously private. While some rumors hinted at a fleeting romantic involvement, insiders emphasized that what endured was far more significant: a deep, unwavering friendship. They knew each other's secrets, fears, and triumphs, yet they also respected boundaries. Years could pass without public interaction, and yet they would reconnect as if no time had elapsed. That rare trust and understanding made their bond almost legendary in Hollywood circles. In the months leading up to Diane Keaton's death, Jack Nicholson reportedly became unusually attentive. Friends close to the actress noted that he visited more often than usual, offering companionship, comfort, and reassurance. This was not a public spectacle, nor was it motivated by appearances. It was a personal, quiet devotion. Those who observed him during this period described a man who had long understood the fragility of life and the importance of presence, particularly in the face of mortality. However, tragedy has a way of complicating even the strongest relationships. Diane's sudden passing shocked friends, family, and fans alike, and Jack's presence during her final days quickly drew scrutiny. Rumors began circulating almost immediately, fueled by media speculation and the public's fascination with two of Hollywood's most enigmatic figures. The narrative shifted from mourning a beloved actress to questioning Nicholson's role, intentions, and proximity to the events that unfolded. Amid this storm, friends and family expressed mixed feelings. Some appreciated Jack's care and devotion to Diane in her final months, while others were unsettled by the attention and speculation his presence invited. The investigation reportedly opened shortly thereafter, focusing on circumstances surrounding her passing. While many questioned his involvement, insiders insist that Jack's actions were consistent with decades of genuine friendship. A man quietly supporting someone he deeply cared about. This chapter of their story highlights the complexities of fame and friendship in Hollywood. It reveals that even genuine relationships can be overshadowed by public scrutiny and misinterpretation. For Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton, a bond that had lasted decades became a focal point of speculation, showing how tragedy can distort perception and turn loyalty into suspicion. Understanding this is crucial to separating truth from rumor and seeing the human reality behind the headlines. Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton's friendship was one of depth, trust, and enduring connection. But when the spotlight falls too closely on personal tragedy, even the strongest bonds are tested, leaving questions that only time and truth can answer. Following the sudden and heartbreaking news of Diane Keaton's death, the world of Hollywood was thrown into shock. Fans mourned the loss of one of cinema's most beloved actresses, while the media scrambled to uncover details about her final days. Among the flurry of speculation, one name repeatedly surfaced: Jack Nicholson. The decades-long friend, confidant, and rumored former lover suddenly found himself under intense scrutiny, and authorities reportedly opened an investigation to clarify his role in the events leading up to Diane's passing. The investigation, according to insiders, focused on establishing a clear timeline and understanding who was present during Diane's final hours. While Jack had been seen visiting her frequently in the months prior, friends say he had done so out of genuine care and concern, not for publicity or personal gain. Nevertheless, the media's narrative quickly painted a different picture. Headlines implied a connection that went beyond friendship, fueling rumors and social media speculation. For fans accustomed to seeing Jack Nicholson as a charming, carefree icon, this sudden portrayal was shocking and confusing. Friends and family members described a complicated dynamic. On one hand, Nicholson's presence had been comforting to Diane, providing emotional support in a period of declining health. On the other hand, the sudden attention from authorities and journalists created tension and suspicion, with every phone call, visit, and text message scrutinized. It became clear that even a private friendship in Hollywood could be misinterpreted when tragedy strikes. Sources close to the investigation say officials were thorough, interviewing household staff, friends, and colleagues. Every detail, from Jack's visits to the nature of his communications with Diane, was analyzed in an effort to rule out any wrongdoing. While the scrutiny was intense, insiders emphasized that the investigation was procedural and not necessarily accusatory, a step taken to ensure transparency and clarity in the wake of a high-profile death. During this period, Jack maintained his characteristic composure. Unlike many in Hollywood faced with rumors and investigations, he did not engage publicly, issue statements, or confront the media. Instead, he focused on those closest to him, quietly supporting friends and family while cooperating with authorities as required. Those who observed him said his demeanor was somber but resolute, a man navigating a difficult situation with dignity, patience, and restraint. Meanwhile, the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing. Social media was filled with speculation, with fans dissecting every known interaction between Jack and Diane. Analysts and gossip columns tried to read between the lines of public appearances, interviews, and even archived photographs. While much of it was speculation, the attention highlighted a harsh truth of celebrity life. Even genuine relationships can become public property, subject to rumor, suspicion, and misinterpretation. Despite the scrutiny, those who truly knew Jack Nicholson insist that he acted out of loyalty and care, not self-interest. His decades-long friendship with Diane Keaton was rooted in trust and history, and many close observers believe that his presence during her final months was consistent with that deep bond. As the investigation proceeded, it became clear that this chapter of their story was about more than legality. It was about understanding human connections under extraordinary circumstances. In a world obsessed with sensationalism, the truth often becomes buried beneath headlines. For Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton, decades of friendship and loyalty were suddenly placed under a microscope, showing how fragile public perception can be when tragedy strikes. When news of the investigation into Jack Nicholson following Diane Keaton's death went public, the reaction was immediate, intense, and often divided. Fans, journalists, and celebrities alike weighed in, creating a storm of speculation that dominated headlines and social media feeds for weeks. To many, the idea that one of Hollywood's most enigmatic figures could be scrutinized in such a personal tragedy was shocking. For others, it felt like a natural consequence of fame, a reminder that even the closest friendships are vulnerable under the public eye. Social media became a battleground of opinions. Fans of Diane Keaton expressed outrage, confusion, and heartbreak, questioning why Jack was suddenly at the center of suspicion. Others defended Nicholson, highlighting decades of documented loyalty, kindness, and support for his friend. Hashtags, trending topics, and viral threads dissected every known interaction between the two stars, from interviews decades earlier to the last few months of Diane's life. Online, opinions varied wildly. Some painted Jack as a devoted friend, others as a figure of intrigue, and many simply mourned the loss of both the actress and the private life she had once maintained. Within Hollywood, the reaction was more muted but equally complex. Colleagues, co-stars, and industry insiders expressed a mix of empathy and curiosity. Those who had worked closely with Nicholson over the years described him as fiercely loyal, protective, and often misunderstood. Many emphasized that while the investigation might cast a shadow publicly, it was important to separate speculation from fact. Jack has always been a man of integrity, one longtime collaborator said. What people see on the surface is only part of the story. The media frenzy also brought renewed attention to the private lives of both actors. Reports delved into past relationships, longtime friendships, and behind-the-scenes anecdotes, often blending fact with conjecture. Tabloids and talk shows speculated about motives, timelines, and hidden tensions. Even seemingly innocuous details, such as phone calls or dinner visits, were analyzed and reported as evidence, whether or not there was any substance to the claims. Amid the chaos, Jack maintained a remarkable level of composure. Unlike many celebrities faced with intense public scrutiny, he did not issue statements or engage in public defenses. Instead, he focused on private reflection and supporting those close to Diane. Friends describe him as quiet, introspective, and deeply affected by the loss, yet determined to navigate the situation with dignity. His silence, they say, was not indifference, but a deliberate choice to respect the memory of Diane Keaton while cooperating with the ongoing inquiry. For fans, the fallout was a complex mix of sorrow and fascination. Diane's death reminded the world of her extraordinary talent, grace, and humanity, while Jack's involvement highlighted the fragile line between celebrity and privacy. Together, their story became a lens through which the public could examine loyalty, grief, and the consequences of fame. Ultimately, the fallout underscored a central truth about Hollywood. No matter how carefully one lives, public perception can shape narratives, sometimes eclipsing reality. For Jack Nicholson, it was a test of character and restraint. For Diane Keaton, it became a posthumous lens through which fans and the media tried to understand the relationships that defined her life. As the investigation surrounding Jack Nicholson concluded, Hollywood and the world at large were left to reflect on the lives and legacies of two of its most iconic figures. Diane Keaton's death marked the end of a remarkable era, an actress whose performances had inspired generations, whose personality had charmed millions, and whose grace had left a lasting impression on everyone who knew her. Yet it also highlighted the intricate and sometimes misunderstood dynamics behind celebrity friendships, particularly the ones she shared with Jack Nicholson. The investigation ultimately confirmed what insiders had long known. Jack's actions had been consistent with decades of loyalty and genuine care. He had been a steadfast friend, quietly supporting Diane in her final months without seeking attention or acclaim. The media frenzy, while intense, had obscured a simple truth. that the bond between Jack and Diane was rooted in history, trust, and profound human connection. While rumors and speculation had dominated headlines, those closest to them recognized the depth of their friendship and the sincerity of Jack's support. In the aftermath, fans and Hollywood alike began to focus not on controversy, but on the enduring legacy both actors had left behind. Diane Keaton's remarkable career, filled with unforgettable performances from Annie Hall to Something's Gotta Give, continues to influence new generations of actors and filmmakers. Her wit, intelligence, and charm went beyond the screen, inspiring countless fans to embrace individuality, creativity, and authenticity in their own lives. Jack Nicholson's legacy, too, is multifaceted. Beyond his memorable roles in films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Shining, and As Good as It Gets, he is remembered as a complex figure, a man capable of both audacious charisma and quiet loyalty. His friendship with Diane Keaton, scrutinized and misinterpreted in the media, ultimately reveals a side of him rarely seen by the public, a devoted friend who values trust, loyalty, and human connection above notoriety. The events following Diane's death serve as a reminder of the pressures that fame imposes, and the way public perception can distort reality. For celebrities like Jack and Diane, private lives are often public property, open to interpretation, speculation, and judgment. Yet, despite the sensationalism, the truth of their friendship remains, a testament to enduring loyalty, compassion, and humanity in an industry often dominated by superficiality and spectacle. For fans reflecting on this story, the lesson is clear. Even amid tragedy and public scrutiny, the essence of character, integrity, and genuine human connection persists. Jack Nicholson's response to Diane Keaton's passing demonstrates that loyalty does not always make headlines, but it leaves a lasting mark on those who truly understand its value. Similarly, Diane's extraordinary life and career continue to inspire, long after the final curtain has fallen. In the end, the story of Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton is not just about investigation, speculation, or Hollywood gossip. It is about friendship, tested by time, fame, and tragedy, and about the way legacies are shaped not only by public perception, but by quiet acts of devotion, compassion, and integrity. Their lives remind the world that behind every headline, there are human stories. Stories of loyalty, love, grief, and ultimately, the enduring power of connection. As the dust settles and the headlines fade, one truth remains. The bond between Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton will be remembered not for controversy, but for its depth, complexity, and enduring humanity. It is a legacy that transcends fame. A story of two extraordinary lives intertwined in ways the world will continue to reflect upon for generations to come.